So my name's Rob Cunningham. This is my wife Fiona Cunningham. We're here at Maynard's farm and we have two rental properties. One is the tractor shed that we're in today, and there's also the barn as well. We've been in holiday lets now for about 15, 16 years. It came about using up redundant buildings.
Well, originally, actually, we did one of them up for a family member who then, her circumstances changed. So then it was, what are we going to do with the building? And so that's when we started to go into the rental business.
So we moved up 25 years ago from London.
With our 1-year-old child.
Yeah. And we were in two completely different industries. We bought a bacon and sausage making business with potential to expand. Had a farm shop. We run butchery courses as well, which are quite fun. We just saw so much potential in the whole plot up in Shropshire.
We actually bought it from, we were crossing Canada because we decided to leave London, and we were driving from coast to coast in Canada, and your father found this in the Telegraph advertised. Yeah,
we actually pulled into a gas station, and having driven in a straight line for about 4 days at 55 miles an hour across the prairies, it was like, well, what can be so difficult about making bacon? What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, no, I'd say it works really well because having the holiday lets and the farm shop, there's a real synergy between the two, because obviously the guests like it for the convenience. They get fresh bread in the mornings, they can get their milk, their eggs, whatever they want. And I think it is definitely an added bonus for the holiday lets. And also obviously it boosts sales in the shop. So it's a good synergy.
I think it's a great synergy because, I mean, Fiona runs it. About 75–80% of all product is locally sourced. So it's a really good sort of snapshot of what Shropshire's food production is like, because we got some great guys who make local bread, salamis, jams, pickles, cheese producers. We make the bacon and the sausage. So it really showcases Shropshire food, I think. So those foodie customers do tend to like it.
Yeah, they do.
Balancing all the different businesses is pretty full on, actually. You've got your catering, so you're extremely busy in the summer. 21st, 60th, all that sort of stuff, you know, sort of. So that is demanding enough in itself. And then the wholesale business is always busy, as is the shop. It's about and then of course the holiday lets on tour. I think we've been quite lucky. We've got good teams in place. So we've got great people that work in the farm shop. You know, we've got Sykes that are obviously managing the properties, and we've got a really good cleaning crew that come in and do their job. You know, we got guys helping out in on the wholesale business side of things.
So the barn is a 1-bed property. It doesn't have outside space necessarily with it, but it is quite nice, self-contained, quite good for a couple, quite cosy. Lots of people use it as a base for exploring the local area. It has been done up in a sort of contemporary style with a bit of old thrown in. And then the tractor shed, this one that we're sitting in now, sleeps 4 people. It has a mezzanine upstairs with a very large bed, and then the twin room downstairs, so it's suitable for either a family of 4 or 2 couples who know each other quite well, I'd say, because there is 1 bathroom. But in here, we've done it this was the more fun one to do, I would say, because, well, we had more involvement with it.
I mean, the reason it's called a tractor shed is because it was quite an old building that had farm machinery in it, and it just seemed to be the obvious name for it. It looks nothing like it used to now. As you can see behind me, there's loads of green oak that wasn't original. And we've gone for the bare plaster look, not because I can't be bothered to paint it. I just like that warmth that and that mottled finish that it gives. And it was all part of the big plan 25 years ago when we moved up. Not necessarily to go into holiday lets, but just trying to buy property with a potential to be exploited.
But also to develop, I just think it smartens the whole property up as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because everything sort of looks more harmonious, I suppose, than just having falling down old buildings.
Yeah.
So it just looks, the whole place looks smarter. I would say the barn stands out for its sort of coziness. It's all on one level and it is quite a calming space, I'd say. It's it is quiet and it's just nice, a nice cozy sort of home from home, I'd say. Whereas I'd say the tractor shed stands out for its light, its space, the height of its ceilings. I mean, there's not many properties that have that high a ceiling. And I think people really like that. Plus the outlook. We've got the lovely view. And when we first designed it, the bed upstairs on the mezzanine, which could be a little blingy in other circumstances, I had this vision of, because it's white velvet, which sounds horrible, but if on a frosty morning you're looking out over the field from that bed, I just had this vision that it would all be, you know, you just can imagine how it would be. People who are coming here usually have a plan to explore the area, and there is a lot to do locally to here. Lots of children, lots of gardens, lovely gardens to go round, there's lovely towns, so there's an awful lot of people to do. And I do think, you know, they like to be able to walk in the fields and just sort of be outside. Yeah,
there's a lot going on in Shropshire, because I think right at the very start when we looked at holiday lets, it was like, well, why would you want to go to Shropshire on holiday? And I think people do have an itinerary when they come here. I mean, Snowdonia's an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Chester's not far. Shrewsbury's lovely. Ludlow, lovely old medieval market town that's about an hour south. And Shropshire's got a lovely countryside, and it's almost like if you turned off the telly, the radio and the internet, it's still a bit like the 1960s. I suppose planning never goes as quickly as one would like. They were pretty good. Nothing is ever straightforward, I think. I mean, in my previous life, I was, you know, involved in property buying and selling and very hands-on. So in both properties, once the structural build had finished, I was involved in sort of project managing and second fix, carpentry, kitchen fitting, tiling, decorating, general labouring. So I mean, that obviously kept the cost down. I suppose this one took 8 months or something, and I was very involved in it, so it had to sort of work around other schedules. But the barn itself didn't take as long, but it's it was done in 2 parts. The first floor was done relatively quickly for a family member who was moving back from overseas to stay, and then over a period of time they've moved on, so there was pressure on to get that finished.
I think it's really nice to have a guest book, so we have guest books in both. We're on our 3rd guest book in here because people tend to write a lot in this one for some reason, and they illustrate it as well. So whenever there are kids, they draw pictures of the cat or something that they've done, and so it's just really nice way of passing on information to the other guests as well. But I think also to facilitate them having a nice time, like to provide a book, which we do, of all the local things to do in the area, and be on hand to answer any questions. What I tend to do is try and find out what sorts of things, if they're either wanting a chilled week where they really don't want to do very much, or they're wanting to explore the area, and then just telling them about what events are happening locally. Like we've got the Shrewsbury Food Festival this weekend, telling them about things like that so that they can make the most of their time here. And I just think it really adds to their experiences, and, you know, makes them want to come back. So I think that's a good thing.
Well, we're probably the exception to the rule that we got 4 businesses all operating from this one site. And like I said before, Sykes have been good for getting bums on seats. You are managing it as well, and the cleaning crew and all the rest of it. One of the good things about Sykes is we don't have to worry about money. And we also don't need to worry about, oh God, August is really quiet, and then starting to, working a website or, trying to get more traffic coming through. And you'll often get a text or an email saying, Mr. and Mrs. Smith are coming on the 22nd. We booked it out, they're here for a week. So it's sort of, I'm not saying it runs itself, but it's a lot less problematic than it could be. We have friends that also have holiday lets, and they tend to do the marketing themselves. And
well, your sister does actually.
Yeah, that's right. And then there's a money angle and all the rest of it. And if there's any difficulty with unsatisfied people, it does get resolved. We've never had any major issues like that, but it's just nice to know that at the end of the day, really, Sykes is our customer. So we just deal with one, and that's Sykes, and then they sort of sublet it. So it works well.
So we chose to work with an agency, well, Sykes specifically, when we first started doing rentals, because we didn't have time. We had 3 small children. You had the business. I also was working, and so we just thought we want the easiest.
It was about delegation, wasn't it? Really, not having to take on and I'm very glad. They're definitely worth the commission they charge. Put it that way.
They're always friendly. They are very approachable. They're very willing to help with whatever you need help with, and it's dealt with professionally.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, they're pretty good.
I would recommend Sykes, and I already have, to a very good friend of ours locally who started earlier this year, and she's already got, I think, 20 bookings for the year, and is very happy with how it's all going, and loves dealing with her contacts at Sykes. I think she thinks that it's been very positive.
And it's nice that it's a throughput of people coming through. They spend up to a week, occasionally a fortnight, but usually sometimes a long weekend or whatever. So.
But it's like fresh people who are on holiday who are excited.
For me, when people leave having said they've had such a lovely time and they loved staying here and they want to come back, that makes everything worthwhile, I think, really.
And that makes you feel really proud and just very chuffed.
We do get recommendations from people who will arrive and say, well, my mum came here, or we had friends that highly recommended you, and that was great. That's nice to hear.
And a lot of repeat business, so that
yeah,
goes to show that you're doing something right.